Hey guys, Jennifer Waters here. Thanks for joining me. I am the Sales and Systems Sensei. Today's video is so important, especially if you're past the 100 student mark. We're diving in specifically into how to structure your team for success. All right, so if you have over 100 students, you're probably getting to the point right now where it's like, I really need help. And I really need to develop a team to help me achieve my goals. Now, one of my clients just recently sent me an audio message and it was absolutely incredible. Lakin was telling me, hey, thank you so much for all the advice that allowed me to get the best team in place for my martial arts school. You see, what was happening with Lakin is she was in a situation where she was just at the cusp of greatness, meaning she was ready to take that next leap forward. She was ready to jump up and add on another 50 to 75 students, 100 students. But the problem was she didn't have all the right people in the right seats in her martial arts school. Now, if you've ever heard of the analogy having the right people in the right seats in the right bus, I think that that's a super great analogy because every single time that you position people with the highest points of leverage for them as individuals, it allows you to get a higher point of leverage for yourself. So I'm going to share with you 3 secrets that I've used inside of our 7-figure dojo to literally allow me to do things like this. I get to come and shoot these videos, have podcasts, travel, spend time with my kid. It's an amazing life and experience, and I can teach martial arts classes when I want to the people that I want. Of course, there's certain groups that you love teaching more than others, right? I'm sure that that's the case. And wouldn't you love to only spend your time teaching those certain groups of martial arts students when they reach a certain proficiency level or whatever it is? Or maybe you just love teaching martial arts, but you don't want to deal with any of the admin side of things. Wouldn't it be great to just go out there and teach and not have to worry about that? I'm showing you what to do next. Okay, so step number 1, if you have your computer pulled up or you have something to take notes on, I highly recommend doing that. By the way, training videos like this are great, but if you want to dive deeper and you really want to get in and ask some questions and get some one-on-one time with me and the rest of the 7-figure dojo team, we have a Facebook group called the 7-figure dojo secrets Facebook group. We'll link it up in the description for you. Go ahead and join that group. You can get access to me and the other team members involved in the 7-figure dojo team, and you can interact with our amazing community of martial arts school owners just like you that are learning and growing. Plus, we do live trainings every Friday inside the group, so there's always a way for you to interact and get your questions answered and help your martial arts school grow. Join the group, but for right now, let's get back to training. Okay, so step number 1. Define what the seats are in your martial arts business. Now I'm going to give you just a really quick overview of what works best. So if you think about your martial arts school like it's a team, like a sports team, that'll help you a little bit better. So in a sports team, you typically have an owner of the team. Then you have a head coach, you have an assistant coach, you have an offense, and you have a defense. And you have a lot of players in those other areas. I want you to understand that as you grow your martial arts school, you're going to be growing it similar to that model that I just outlined right there. Somebody has to be the owner. Now, that owner doesn't necessarily have to go out there and make the calls on the field. That's what the head coach is for. And then that head coach doesn't always have to take care of some of the smaller details. That's what the assistant coach is for. And then the head coach and assistant coach aren't out there on the field playing the game. That's what the players are. Eventually, when you create your own 7-figure dojo, you'll have that lineup. One of the hardest things for me to understand as I was growing the 7-figure dojo over a decade ago with my family was what roles are we playing and who do we need to hire and who do we need to have in those positions to play the best game. And once we cracked that open and once we were able to do it, we just skyrocketed to success. So let me share with you what to do if you're at that 100 student mark and you want to get to 200 students, 300, 400, so on. You want to get to your 7-figure dojo of your dreams. Here's the process. You need to understand that first, you are the owner, you are the head coach, the assistant coach, and you play on the field. So one of the first things that you need to do is you need to define what offense and defense is on the field. Okay, for me, offense has to do with marketing and it has to do with sales. So what are you doing to get known in the community? How are you doing with Facebook ads or Instagram ads? What are you doing on YouTube? What are you doing with email marketing, text message marketing? What are you doing to talk to your community about what it is that you do inside your martial arts school? That's marketing. That is definitely a player. That is a person on the field that needs to be out there winning the game. I would even say that that's the quarterback if we're talking about American football. That's the person who's throwing it down the field and we're lining it up so that the receiver can carry the ball into the end zone. Now, the next step is sales, right? So if you have all of this new lead generation and you've created this demand for your martial arts school, somebody's got to be there being that person in the middle going, okay, there's lots of demand and here's how you can get on the inside of our martial arts school. That's sales. So cultivating that position, that offense, is one of the things that you need to understand that is going to take you a while to do. And I would also say that you as a school owner are going to be not only that owner, that head coach, but you're going to probably be in that marketing and that sales role the longest. Okay? It's much harder to have a great offense than it is to have a really good defense. Because the offense has to be very strategic about making sure that we're getting the ball down the field, that we're doing all these things. But the defense on the other side really just has to hold the line and make sure that no offensive plays by the opposing team succeed. That's really the defense's objective. So the offense takes more strategic thinking and it also takes more strategic planning to make it happen. I would say delegate that one last, hire for that position last, focus on defense first. So what are the defensive positions you're asking? Okay, so defensive positions that you need to look at and you need to hire, either you're gonna outsource these things or you're gonna hire for these things, okay? So let's start with the nitty gritty, the stuff that none of us like taking and doing, right? So one would be accounting and legal. Do you have somebody on that side that's taking care of those things? I hope that you're not trying to keep this in-house. There's plenty of great accountants that are certified. There's plenty of great lawyers. You definitely don't need to be doing legal yourself or trying to look it up on LegalZoom or something like that. You need to actually have a physical person that you can call up and say, hey, am I in compliance? Is this a good idea? Am I going to have any responsibilities that I should keep in mind if I were to go this route? And having that legal counsel can save you lots of heartache in the future. Okay, so you got your accountant, you got your lawyer. The next thing is you need to have somebody who's doing some level of bookkeeping or some level of statistics tracking, tracking what all your numbers are so that you as an owner, as a head coach can make decisions and you can figure out, okay, this is working, this is not working. So you're doing all of those things. And this is probably very counterintuitive to what everybody else in the martial arts industry would tell you to do. They would tell you, you need to go out and hire instructors. You need to go out and you need to make sure that you have somebody, a receptionist at your front desk. And I'm telling you that those are really great positions and roles. But if you don't hire in the right order, your defense is going to be lacking. It's going to open you up to many, many vulnerabilities. So take care of those things first. After you've gotten those things in place, the next thing that you do is you have someone who can start servicing the customers. Again, sometimes people go, well, I need an administrative person to do all the agreements and make sure that people are making their tuition payments, or you need to do all these things. And that's great. But really, you need to have somebody who's serving the customers who maybe can grow into that role over time. If they're organized, if they're able to serve the customers, if they're able to answer questions that you've outlined, get that person in place first. Once you've done that, then you can start building out that defensive line. You can start putting some key team members in place that aren't going to let anybody pass through that line. They're going to make sure that they're stopping cancellations. They're going to follow up on students and make sure that they're attending classes. They're going to help your students be successful in their student journey. They're going to do all of those things. And when they've done all of those things, then you're going to find someone in the middle of that can rise to the top and then become eventually your operational manager Or as you grow to a 7-figure operation, a chief of operations that can really oversee that defensive line and becomes your defensive coordinator or your assistant head coach. They know enough about offense and defense to do that for you. All right, so hopefully this has given you a better understanding of how you should be positioning yourself, and you should be building all of these different roles within your martial arts school. Now, if you're sitting here and you're going, oh my gosh, Jennifer, but how in the world am I going to be able to manage all these people, pay all these people, hire these people, do all these things? There's an old proverb that says, if you want to eat an elephant, you must do it by biting one piece at a time. And this is the exact same philosophy that I would say for you as a martial arts school owner. If you're at 100 students or 200 students, what's the first piece of that elephant that you need to bite off? What's that first thing that you need to tackle? And start tackling that thing. Start really digging into that. And if you're looking and you're like, man, I really need better systems and I don't want to spend years developing out these systems, maybe coming inside the 7-figure dojo for yourself is exactly what you need. Because this is what we do for our clients. We bring them inside and we let them take our playbook that it took us years to develop, skip all that time, all that heartache, all that banging their head against a brick wall, and just come in and copy and paste, plug and play. So if that's you, we encourage you, come inside of our 7-Figure Dojo Secrets Facebook group, see what we're all about. And then once you're there, if you feel like it's a good fit, reach out to us, and then we'll talk to you a little bit more about coming inside the 7-Figure Dojo. Until next time, keep being awesome.